of Education meeting. I'd like everybody to stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first presentation will be by the Leadership Corps Club prior to opening up for discussion.
Yes, we have with us Advisor Jeff Walters and some students. They were here this past fall asking for a new club that promotes leadership and opportunities to empower New Hartford students. I don't know if Ms. Springfield would like to say anything regarding the club, or turn it over to Mr. Walters.
Turn it over to Mr. Walters.
Mr. Walters?
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. And I'm just going to turn it right over to the leadership board.
1 second. Got it. Hi everyone and good evening. My name is Simrit Singh. This is Lauren Van Wagner and this is Lauren Borrell. And in the fall we had come to you with an idea to start a club about leadership at the high school. I'm glad to say that we founded the New Hartford Leadership Corps, and you granted us this opportunity with the promise that we came back to you in the summer and told you a little bit about what our club achieved.
So we would really like to thank you for giving us and this school this invaluable opportunity. We're really passionate about leadership, especially in high school students. We feel it is extremely necessary, especially in the modern workforce. It's a trait that is often undervalued in high school students, but it's still extremely needed. And we're proud to say that we had over 50 members throughout the year in the club, and then we had a core group of about 30 members who were extremely committed and dedicated.
So our mission with creating this club was we wanted to foster all of the potential that we see in New Hartford students and create a community within the high school that was dedicated to promoting leadership in themselves and throughout their other students. And that was the idea that we kept in mind with all of the activities that we planned throughout the year. So we started off immediately with our first project. We created a non-teaching staff appreciation week for the staff at the high school. Dippin' Donuts sponsored coffee and donuts for the bus drivers. We also created a thank you banner for the bus drivers. We gave thank you cards and flower bouquets to the secretaries. We made a thank you board and a jar of lollipops for the nurses. We brought baked treats and banners for the tech department and the kitchen staff. And we also helped out the custodial staff after school one day.
You guys are making us look bad.
I mean, as you can tell, that was a pretty comprehensive project. We kind of reached all of the school because we know there's another day sponsored, especially for the teachers, and we felt that other people at the school impact high school students on a daily basis, and we wanted to recognize them as well. Our next project was a hat, mitten, scarf, and coat drive for the Utica Refugee Center. So we had this huge box in the lobby. At the end of it, we filled it all the way up, and when we brought it to the Utica Refugee Center, they were extremely appreciative of our club and our high school's efforts.
The next thing that our club did, we kind of took a break from doing any projects and we invested some time in working on public speaking. So we took a lot of time, we would watch TED Talks and we discuss them and analyze them, and we do spontaneous public speaking activities where we'd pick out of a jar and there'd be a topic and we made people go talk about it for 30 seconds, and it was some of our club members' favorite activity. We also, we just worked on a lot of strategies to help perfect public speaking because we think it's so important throughout high school and in the workforce. So to show our club members some examples of excellent public speakers, we brought in some fellow New Hartford alums. So John Capisolatro, Nick Palumbo, Ashley Burley, and Christina Gonzalez. All of them came and talked to us about different ways that leadership has impacted their lives.
And then our final project for the year was about 3 weeks ago, actually. We held a Memorial Day community event on the village green, and we had a lot of free events for children and actually all age groups to come and participate in. So we had free henna, face painting, a sidewalk chalk kind of activity place. We had a community mural where we actually had community members come and dip their hand in paint and place it on the mural. So we have this great mural that has all these handprints, and we painted on it and said, thank you for making an impact on so many lives, and we're going to donate that to the Veterans Outreach Center in Utica. So it was just a really great event. We had a lot of people come out, and it was all free, and we really hope to do that next year as well.
Another thing that the Leadership Corps did is we were invited to attend Utica Rotary Luncheons, and the three of us and Julia D'Ambrosio represented the Leadership Corps, and we engaged in a lot of local leaders, and we got to talk to them about what they do and how they got to where they are and all their success, and that was a really cool experience because we got to see like how leadership alongside of, we saw New Hartford alumni, and then we saw members of our community, also how leadership granted them so much success. And with that, we also nominated Mrs. Sheila Grimmer as our Teacher of the Year for New Hartford.
So at our last club meeting of the year, we had our club members evaluate what they thought were the strengths and the weaknesses of the club, and we got a lot of feedback back, and most of it was mainly positive, but we know what to improve in our club now too.
Yeah, a lot of the club members said they loved the guest speakers. They thought they were really engaging and insightful about leadership. And then they really liked the public speaking activities, since that is a skill that is widely required in many courses. They thought it was very helpful. One of the weaknesses was that they wished they had more time to do a lot of activities and projects. And while we can't necessarily stretch time, we'll definitely try and improve that for next year.
Some of the projects that we want to do next year include having members of the club, instead of the three of us running the club, we want members from our club to lead class discussions. We did a little bit of it this year with members coming up and introducing video presentations and introducing our speakers, but we want to get more of our club members involved with that. We want to expand on the projects that we've already done this year, and what else are we planning? We have so much.
We have so many plans. We're going to spend this entire summer just plotting out better ways to organize it, better ways of communication methods between club members. We're pretty excited for next year.
So I think overall what we learned from running this club this year was that leadership is so unique, and that you really need like a safe environment where leadership can be practiced at a young age, because youth leadership can basically take you anywhere, and that's what this club allows us to do.
And the cool thing about leadership itself is it's a concept that's so broad. There's so many different ways you can come at it and experience it, and there's many different types of people. So by going by that definition, so many different people can possess leadership, and they can improve their lives through leadership. So that's kind of what we lived by through the club this year.
So in conclusion, we just wanted to say thank you on behalf of us and our club for the time to us to come and talk to you, and for the opportunity that we've given our club members and our school by having this club. And we hope to come back with more next year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I've got one question. Jeff, when you plan the projects, are they planned at the beginning of the year, or you just space them out?
To be honest, most of these are their ideas. Some of them they've planned out all year, and some of them kind of happen spontaneously based on whatever's happening in the community or whatever's going on at that particular moment. So it's a combination of both of those.
On behalf of the board, just like to thank you for coming in. I know the board thoroughly enjoys the interaction with the student body. It's one of their Board of Education goals, and you certainly have exceeded our expectations. And I'd like to thank you for representing the New Hartford student body and our community quite well. I'd like to thank Mr. Walters for assisting these students with these fine endeavors. And again, I speak for the whole board, but we're very proud of what you did. Thank you.
Recognition of visitors. please give your name and,
Hi, my name's Vinny Martinelli. My daughter was one of the students suspended from the senior class trip. I dropped off a letter to Mr. Knowles, acting secretary, yesterday. I don't know if he made a copy and handed it out to you guys.
They have not had an opportunity to see that.
In case, I don't know if you guys are aware what happened, that there's at least 20 plus, 25 plus students who were suspended because they participated in a student prank. Yes, they did sign the blanket letter that New Hartford's used for the past umpteen years, that if you participate in a student prank, you will be suspended from going on the senior class trip. It's been that way for umpteen years, and for umpteen years, every senior class has done a senior prank, and no senior class has ever had a group of students suspended during school hours for doing their prank during their school lunch hour. When this senior class, when they were sophomores, the senior class that year had a dance party as a senior prank in the library. It went off, no problems. Miss Spring went in there, broke it up. No suspensions came of it. A couple days later, they had a big, huge pool party, swimming in the New Hartford pool with beach balls, floaties, the whole 9 yards. Again, Miss Spring went in there, broke it up. No suspensions became of it. Student pranks are student pranks. There's no consistency here with, what rules, when they're going to be applied, when they're not going to be applied. When this class was juniors, they dumped crickets in the boys' bathroom. Nothing happened with that, no suspensions. They had a water balloon, water gun, squirt gun fight. They had a slippery slide out on the turf. Mr. Crow went out there, broke it up, said, make sure you guys clean everything up, no suspensions. Now it comes to this year's senior class, they decided they were going to have a Nerf gun fight. And they went out in their cars and during lunch to get everything on, put their makeup on, and I guess Miss Spring caught wind of it and started heading over there, and the kids took off. Some of the kids got into the school, other kids didn't. The kids that got into the school got suspended. She interviewed a bunch of kids, some more kids got suspended because they admitted they were part of it. Then the next day, some of those kids that were originally suspended now weren't suspended because there was no quote-unquote hard video proof, which in New Hartford, I never knew there was such a thing as hard video proof when you have eyewitness with the principal seeing, other teachers seeing, kids walking around with eye black on their face. It's just unheard of. All those students, they all signed the same blanket policy, that letter. Every class before them, the class before them, the class before them, the class before them. This is the first student class they have students suspended. Since I don't know why video, Mr. No, when I talked to him, he told me, well, the attorney told me that she has the right to do that because there's hard video evidence. Well, we understand that she has the right to do that. We understand that technically they did violate the letter that they signed. But every class before that has also broken that letter, and none of those kids have ever gone on to get suspensions and not go on the senior class trip. If a student gets caught smoking in the bathroom by Miss Spring, is that enough for the kid to get suspended? Even though there's no video of it? There's no hard video of that. There's no hard video of a student athlete that happens to be at a party where there's alcohol, yet that student athlete gets in trouble. So all these kids that participated, if they got all the kids that participated, it would probably be 40%, 45% of the senior class. My problem is there's no consistency here. What was good last year and the year before isn't good this year. If that was going to be the case, they could have came out with a new letter stating our past practice of allowing senior pranks to go unpunished is going to cease this year. And you got to let the kids know. It's no different than if you have a son or daughter and they do something wrong at your house and you tell them that's wrong, don't do that again. Tomorrow your other son or daughter does the same exact thing and you punish them. What message are you sending to your kids? It's just plain and simple wrong, and the board should overturn the decision and allow these students to participate with the rest of their class and go on the senior trip. Thank you.
is there anybody else that would like to address the board tonight?
Well, hello, my name's Sam Citadino. I'm on the same boat with him. I'm one of the students who got suspended from the senior trip because of my actions with the prank. And I wrote a speech, but you covered like everything I was going to say in my speech. So what I'm saying now is I want to say how sorry I am on behalf of the 25 students who got eliminated from the senior trip, and if you by any way can make it possible to make an alternative punishment, then I would more than anything be very happy about that. That would mean so much to me and my entire class too, you know, because we've all been, like, my entire class, 200 something of us, we've all been together almost since 7th grade. I've known all of these people, and it would break most people's heart if we weren't all together. But thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone else like to speak?
Yeah, Mark, Denver, I have a question. Will there be further discussion on any of the agenda items later on, or is this the time to broach a subject?
This is your forum to talk.
Okay. I guess I'm a little concerned, and you know, I know that there was back in November, you know, you extended Superintendent Knoll's contract, and I know Superintendent Knoll for probably close to 30 years, and you know, I think he's done a fine job. Having said that, you know, I noticed that through the video, and I didn't know whether to wear a referee shirt here or strap on a pair of boxing gloves or wear a police uniform, because I can tell some of the board members have, you know, little contentious issues, which is fine. Having said that, I know that this particular vote that went out was a 4-3 vote. And then I see in this agenda that, you know, we've decided to extend the contract, you know, further. And I personally have no issues or axe to grind with Mr. Knoll. As I stated, he's done a fine job as far as I'm concerned. But because of the board vote, were all the board members that, you know, wanted to, you know, make this extension or new contract, I see this resolution, were all of them in conjunction approved, you know, this particular resolution? I guess that's my question to you.
First of all, we haven't voted on.
Right, I understand that.
Right,
Right.
that's on the agenda. So the offer is confidential.
I understand.
But yes, all contractual, you know, that goes with every contract within this district is discussed at length within the board.
Yeah, I don't, I don't, negate that issue. But I guess my question is, after we had the call, and I appreciate Ms. Zoggs coming in to make the vote on the last one, you know, to pass the extension for 1 year. I guess my question is, with this particular board being here, you know, and new members coming in, is it something that should wait and maybe, you know, because I know that's according to his contract, he's reviewed prior to June 15th every year, and I know that's confidential review process and everything else, so I don't have any issues relative, you know, to what went on there. Having said that, you know, I guess the board will further discuss this issue, I mean, in an open forum. Is that correct, or just vote on it?
So I just want to address, I think one of the misconceptions is, so the previous vote was to extend his existing contract.
That's correct,
Okay?
yes, I understand.
What we're talking about now is not in addition to that 2
Right.
years, it is instead of. So we're replacing the old contract with a new contract.
I understand that as well.
So the board has discussed, and I think essentially been on the same page for quite some time with the direction that we're hoping to go. Things haven't yet been finalized. We're hoping to finalize them tonight.
Okay.
But I am hopeful that we're, confident we're not going to have a divisive vote, because I think that we work well together, and that we'll come up with a solution. That this isn't going to be something that we're trying to jam through at the 11th hour. No, I'm just.
So to answer your question, the whole board has deliberated at length regarding this issue. There will be a vote tonight. We will go into executive session to discuss further, and then we'll come out with a vote.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have any other questions? I'd like to give you a pass here.
My name is Lisa Cooper, and I am a K-12 1978 graduate of New Hartford High School and a lifelong resident. I know Mr. Flemma is 1979. I don't remember these pranks when we were here in school. My children are New Hartford K through 12, 2004 and 2008 graduates. There were no pranks in 2004 through 2008 that I can remember. I am in my 22nd year of teaching for the New Hartford School District. I have taught at both the elementary and high school levels, and begin by reminding the board, fellow colleagues, community members, parents, and students that schools are institutions of learning. The learning that occurs in school is not just academic, it is also social, and we are charged with instructing and fostering good character development in our students. It is our duty to set good examples and to teach students to operate within the boundaries set by society. And if we disagree with those boundaries, to present arguments in a constructive, intelligent, and articulate manner. That being said, schools are charged with teaching students that actions have consequences, some positive, some negative. The students involved in this year's senior prank were aware of the consequence tied to their actions. They were reminded at regular intervals throughout the school year that any involvement in a senior prank, however innocuous, would be punished by removal from the senior trip. Students and parents signed off on agreements that acknowledged their understanding of this consequence. By signing this document, they acknowledged that they understood and accepted the consequences of this action. This letter began in 2011 and is now without precedent. In 2011, 2 students involved in a harmless prank were removed from the senior trip. Although this may seem harsh, it is the only leverage the school district has in ensuring the safety of students both in the high school and elementary wings of the Oxford Road complex. I have witnessed senior pranks that have crossed way over the line. By taking a zero-tolerance approach to senior pranks, the New Hartford School District is not left scrambling on the slippery slope of determining which pranks are acceptable and which are not. If the board decides to allow these students to participate in the senior trip, the same thing will occur next year and the next year and for the foreseeable future. In addition, I'm not sure if parents and students truly understand the inappropriateness of this year's prank. Although it was relatively harmless from a safety standpoint, in light of news reports of school shootings on an almost regular basis, what were students thinking when deciding to run down the senior hall commando style, shooting off toy weapons? The New Hartford School District is not only charged with providing a safe environment, but also one that is conducive to learning. The senior class may have declared themselves done for the year, but underclassmen are still preparing for or taking final exams in class. For the remainder of the school day following the prank and consequences commanded more of the students' and teachers' attention than the lessons presented. I understand that seniors need to express themselves and blow off steam at the end of the year. The end of their high school days is a big transition. The New Hartford School District does much to mark and acknowledge the significance of this. In addition to the graduation ceremony and senior ball, there is a senior breakfast and picnic on the last day of classes. I know my opinion is not a popular one. I do empathize with the students involved and their parents. It is understandable they are upset about their monetary loss. However, please do not think that the senior class is hanging on to their money for punitive reasons. The bus company needs to be paid regardless of whether or not a student is on the bus, and the dinner cruise operators have reserved space and will have to be paid whether or not the student is on the cruise. It would not be fair to pass on the extra cost to their fellow classmates because of their misbehavior. I also know that Dr. Spring has lobbied unsuccessfully for many years that the senior trip be scaled back to something more affordable. Again, I understand and empathize with students' disappointment over not being able to participate in this gathering of their high school classmates. But in time, if they look back at the overall picture, they will eventually recognize that this is a small consequence, which may teach them more than they realize at the moment. I ask nothing more of my students than I would ask of my own children or myself, and that is to be accountable for your actions. This consequence will serve as a valuable lesson needed to complete their character education, that in life they will be held accountable for their actions. It may impress upon them to think twice before participating in an activity in college or later life which may result in removal from campus housing, expulsion, legal consequences, or worse. I conclude with words of wisdom from the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you might find you get what you need.
Bravo.
This is the toy gun that they used, just so everybody can see. So there's no mistake being made. Doesn't matter.
Also, I believe they have those guns in business class in the high school, Nerf guns they use for teaching. I believe you told me that, Vince, when I talked to you on the phone.
And the kids.
So the teachers can have them in school, but the kids can't have them in school, the toy gun. And those students that were suspended because the student prank happened in the middle of the night, not during the day. Didn't happen at lunch hour, it happened at night in the middle of the night. And it didn't disrupt anything.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the board? Yes.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Catherine Silvestri. I'm a resident. I have a student who goes here to New Hartford School District, and I also teach chemistry in the high school. I do want to reiterate that many of the faculty share the same position as Mrs. Cooper, and that we feel that if a student signs an agreement and breaks the agreement, they need to be held responsible for that. That there are consequences to kids' actions. And what we also would like to express is that if that gets overturned, it is giving the students the okay to go ahead and keep breaking, with the thought that as long as their parents complain loudly, there is no consequence to their action. This morning I interviewed 4 of my Honor Society students who took part in the prank, actually 3 because one was away at a college orientation. And all 3 pointed out something to me that became a little more obvious. Originally, they told me the prank was supposed to occur outside, but then it was decided to move the prank inside, and what happened was a student left their guns and their prank material with other students, entered the building, and let the other students in through a non-secure door. So that brings out a point of entry, security, and keeping the system under control at the high school. The other thing that we notice with a lot of these pranks that happen is that the kids get to leave the campus for lunch. And I know we've done that for space and other issues. But if you have the children allowed to leave at lunch, then they can go home, they can rearm themselves, they can come back in. And then when you have other people allowing them in through side doors, you lose control of the security of your system. And with off-campus, often students will have to rush back to try to make it to class. So with that consideration, I'm asking the board to really consider in the future that we may need to move to a closed campus to keep things under control and to keep some of the issues we have in the afternoon as a faculty under control and to help us. Thank you for your time.
Would anyone else like to address the board? Yes.
I would like to say something. My name is Blaze Kirkpatrick. I was one of the students that was banned from the trip. We know what we did was wrong. It went against the rules and the agreement we signed, but we really ask that you deeply consider a second chance. The senior trip is one of our final memories that we'll have with all of our friends that we've grown up with for the past 6+ years. It'll be good times, it'll be a great trip. Many of the students that were banned have never been in trouble, have never even had a lunch detention before. So it's a little unfair that the one time that they act out as one little harmless prank it's just a little unfair to them. And I would just like to, on behalf of us, deeply apologize to Dr. Spring as well as the rest of you for our actions. We know it was wrong, but we really are just hoping for a second chance. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I was, go ahead.
Oh, hi, I'm Eileen Roth. I'm a New Hartford resident and I also teach at the high school. I just wanted to tell the board that my classroom is in the senior hallway, so I was there to witness the students run down with their guns. And for me personally, this is not about a senior prank. This is not about a senior trip. This is about the safety of our students, and 25 kids were able to get into the building with a gun. I know it was a toy gun, but it was a gun. And it takes one kid that says, they're gonna bring Nerf guns, I'm gonna bring a real gun. we have to do something. Like for me personally, we have to keep our kids safe. It is our responsibility, it's our obligation, and I don't feel like our campus is a safe, secure campus right now. Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board?
My name is Jeffrey Sears, I'm a student parent. In response to Mrs. Roth's comments, I think a penalty might be more appropriate to be imposed against the school administration for not making this a safe campus rather than the students themselves. I don't think anybody is calling into question the authority of the administration to impose a penalty on these students. I think what is in question is the choice of the penalty.
I do know that the students know that they're not supposed to let anyone in through other doors. It's a single point of entry, so that
Who's
really
responsible
isn't.
for enforcement of that rule, Mrs. Cooper? You as a teacher, other administrators?
It's the whole school community is supposed to be involved.
Community is. They know
It's a
that they're
collective
not
responsibility.
there. I don't
Let's not make this
have, you know
an
what,
issue.
I'm in my classroom at lunch, taking care of helping students with extra math help. I cannot stand by.
It is not
the
your
door.
students'
Okay,
responsibility
can
to
we
secure
turn around
those
here?
entry,
Thank you
points of
for
entry.
your comment.
Sure.
Anybody else like to address the board? Thank you, Liz. Smart.
I'm Sam again.
Yeah.
I would like to address another safety issue that we've been talking about. And now that we have 25 students banned from the trip, all of those students, they all have cars. They're all going to be planning on driving up to Massachusetts to Six Flags. You know, you have 5 cars with 5 students in each of them, 18, 17-year-olds driving all the way that distance. That's not safe to begin with. Much safer if we would all just be allowed back on the trip. If we would have that opportunity, that would be fantastic. Safety would be, and parents would be much happier.
Thank you very much. Can you try to wrap this up?
It's just the consistency of the rules. They weren't followed last year, they weren't followed the year before, they weren't followed the year before, and all of a sudden they're gonna be followed. That's the problem I have with this whole thing. These kids, these students are being used as scapegoats this year. All right? We're gonna start enforcing this now. This is the problem I have with the whole situation. They could have came up with a better letter. Look at that letter yourself. It's a blanket letter that they've used for every year. And every year the student prank has gone on and unpunished, except for the one that happened in the middle of the night. That's the problem I have with the whole situation.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from the, yes?
I believe this is the first year that letter has gone out.
No, it's not.
My son
No, signed it 2 years ago.
My children, I was never, my children, two other ones.
I'm sorry, it started in 2011. I can tell you there were not senior pranks like this before 2009. The letter resulted from 2 years in a row, highly disruptive senior pranks. And in 2011, students were suspended from the senior trip.
Two, because in the middle of the night.
Close on this issue. One final comment. That's it.
2 people were suspended in the middle of the night.
Thank
Nothing
you.
had happened during the day.
Does anybody have anything else, another topic to discuss?
I was just going to say, I'm listening to this, and I think we should all be very thankful that we have stalwart citizens and teachers like Mrs. Cooper who can tell us that part of the education here is accountability, and that's what she's teaching. And I think we should all be very happy that we've got teachers in our school system who are willing to come out and make that representation. That is very important to New Hartford education, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to move on to item 4. One more, same topic?
No,
Okay.
back to the previous topic. My name's Alexis Tangora. Some of you know me. I've talked with a number of people since really this morning that were alerted to the fact in regards to the consideration of the extension of the contract. Many people were a bit taken back in regards to the initial extension that was given in the spring, whether the superintendent has done a good job or not in anyone's opinion. And I think it did create a lot of embarrassment for the district in regards to some of the editorials that went back and forth in the newspaper. I think part of the problem in getting a good feeling about contract extension is the lack of awareness in regards to the public. Now, I know that being it posted on the district website is supposed to be, according to the bylaws, that's enough. But I think for the general public, to be aware, as busy as our lives are right now, to be aware of an issue that's going to impact taxpayers, that there needs to be a consideration that these type of agenda items be alerted to the public in a more ready fashion, whether it be public notice in the newspaper, whether we use the school website to alert those people that have students in the district that this is an issue, because many people are busy, kids are at games, people that maybe wanted to attend this particular meeting couldn't because of family choices. And I do think it does tend to appear that it is being pushed through at the 11th hour. So that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you. Anybody else? Moving on to item 4 on the agenda, correspondence and communications, Mr. Nolan.
Yes, you should have an addendum for appointment of a part-time office specialist. And also, I have a letter here from regional EPA director, Maurice Savant, discussing Dr. Valentino's accomplishments and recently awarded the New York State Honorary Life Award. So I would ask that congratulations to Dr. Valentino.
Thank you, Bob. Item 5, board committee reports, staffing and curriculum committee, June 9th.
Yeah, thank you. We met on June 9th, and we had a number of items on the agenda. The first one was a staffing recommendation from Mr. Condro and Dr. Spring. Dr. Spring provided an update to the increase in staffing at the high school, and rather than increase staffing in the math department, as previously recommended to accommodate some Common Core changes, Dr. Spring is asking if that we recruit, get another science teacher. She provided rationale that more students are requesting science courses than anticipated, and the increased staffing allows all courses to remain open with seats for transfers and students adjusting their schedules. So she gave us a whole outline on how the science department has added 21 blocks of instruction, and how a lot of science classes are limited by the number of lab stations. They only set up for 20 students per classroom, so we're limited in terms of how many students we can have. And so this will enable us to have more flexibility in the science department. Mr. Condra also provided a recommendation to increase a part-time music position in the strings department to a full-time position. The enrollments in the string department for grades K through 12 have increased, and the additional staffing will also allow needed assistance in the general music program and the junior high band program. And the committee approved both those recommendations. Dr. Levatino and Mr. Alam presented a challenge that they did, a goal that they looked at in terms of surveying students, teachers, and parents about how the transition is going from grade 6 to 7. There have been some concerns, and so they gave us a whole big report on the transition, and they surveyed students, 6th grade students, 7th grade students, 6th grade parents, 7th grade parents, and teachers as to see what the issues were in terms of transition, and they gave us some recommendations on what we can do in the future. Some of the recommendations included increasing daily forums for grade 7 to address effective study habits and how to organize for learning, to establish procedures for grade 7 teachers on how to communicate weekly assignments and expectations better, provide time for teachers in grade 6 and 7 to work in a collaborative manner to determine curriculum goals, and to increase parent training in the Infinite Campus portal. One of the things that they also said that was sort of interesting is that because of Common Core, that because the 6th graders are sort of, maybe help me out, Mr. Condro, because the 6th graders.
6th grade ELA is using state modules as well as the 7th grade, so it'll provide a smooth academic transition in that area.
Exactly. A new factor is in the transition process is the introduction of ELA modules in grade 6, which has significantly increased the amount of independent reading and writing that students complete. So in that sense, they're a little bit better compared to 7th grade. We received an upcoming summer curriculum work from Mr. Hyde. Summer work includes curriculum alignment process for all teachers in grades K through 12, a new teacher induction program, various approved secondary curriculum projects, revising state curriculum modules, and online course offerings in guided reading, guided math, and mindset. And finally, we received a recommendation to assign the elementary technology teachers to the occupational education department, and we approved a recommendation that the 3 elementary technology teachers and the Delta STEM teacher will now reside in the occupational therapy department. And then Mr. Condra provided us with a Common Core update. He reported that an unintended consequence of the number of students refusing the New York State grade 3 through 8 ELA and math assessments is that the data that had been used as part of the required baseline data for the district's APPR plan. So New Hartford's plan intentionally minimized the need for additional pretests in many curriculum areas by using these state testing data instead. And this aspect of the plan has worked well and has resulted in less testing for our students as compared to many other schools. With so many students refusing the test, the district will likely have to alter our APPR plan. The meeting was adjourned at 5:15. Anybody have any questions?
I would just like to say thank you to the curriculum committee and to our teachers for an extraordinary year. I know it has not been easy. Please understand, and I know Catherine's not here, that your concerns.
Over there.
I am
here. It's not your usual spot.
Yeah, right. You know, your concerns have been taken to heart, and we, on behalf of the whole board, we want you to know we really appreciate it. And you know, as an exiting board member, I only hope and pray that next year is a lot easier for all of you. So thank you, but thank you to Lisa leading this team and Vince for your years of service and dedication. It should be applauded. Thank you. There's a lot of hard work in that area, and it's appreciated. Okay, item 6, new business. A, personnel appointments, music teacher.
It is recommended that Catherine Donovan be appointed on probation to the special subject tenure area of music. Service shall begin on September 1, 2014 and end on August 31st, 2017. Ms. Donovan is certified in the area of music with an initial certification.
Motion. Thank you, Jim. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? 1A passes 7-0. Okay. 6B, social worker.
It is recommended that Krista Cercelli be appointed on probation to the special subject tenure area of social work, pending satisfactory clearance for employment by the State Education Department. Service shall begin on September 1, 2014 and end on August 31st, 2017. Ms. Cercelli is certified provisionally as a school social worker.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Lisa. Discussion? All those,
Why is it a 2 or 3 year appointment?
Pardon?
September 14th to August 7th?
Three-year appointment.
That's a typical tenure appointment.
any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? 6B passes 7-0. 6C, permanent substitute Spanish teacher.
It is recommended that Meredith Doyle be reappointed to the position of permanent substitute Spanish teacher. Service shall begin on September 1st, 2014 and end on June 30th, 2015, pursuant to the agreement with the collective bargaining unit. Ms. Doyle is certified initially in the area of Spanish for grades 7 through 12.
Thank you, Paul. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ed. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? C passes 7-0. D, tenure.
It is recommended that Andrew Goodell be granted tenure in the areas of business and distributive education and reading, effective September 1st, 2014.
Thank you, Jim. Second? Thank you, Paul. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? D passes 7-0. E, substitute teacher list.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the per diem substitute teacher list: Cynthia Curry, certified special education, and Susan Julian, certified English.
Motion? Second. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Lisa. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? E passes 7-0. F, coaches.
It is recommended that the list of coaches for the 2014 fall sports season be approved as submitted.
Motion? Moved. Thank you, Lisa. Second? Second. Thank you, Beth. Discussion?
Yeah, I hate to do this again. Tonight, I was trying to confirm the certifications by the school. I can't find, you may well have it, but I can't find Michael Kelly's certification online through.
I mean, I did see it there.
Okay.
I have a copy, I actually have a copy.
Great. Thanks, I just couldn't find it.
Any other discussions?
Yeah.
You want to wait to see the end before?
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? F passes 7-0. G, summer school bus drivers.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the summer school bus driver list: Brian Matthews, David White, William Welch, Sharon Merkel, Barb Cavella, Linda Mundrick, Fred Tedesco, Keith Hanna, Sandra DeSaro, Gary Fountain, and Dave Green.
Motion.
Moved.
Thank you, Paul. Second. Thank you, Beth. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? G passes 7-0. H, summer school bus aides.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the summer school bus aid list: Sandy DeSaro, David Green, Sue Oden, Robin Wheatley, Kim Shaheen, Kristen Abbey, Renee Kowalski, Scott Gaffney, Alan Whitley, Karen White, Barb Smith, Mary Smith, Marlene Bailey, Tammy Mattis, Dana Mackey, and Keith Hanna.
Motion. Thank you. Second. Thank you, Beth. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? H passes 7-0. Addendum 6A-I, part-time office specialist.
It is recommended that Kim Schweitzer be appointed to the position of part-time office specialist effective June 18, 2014.
Motion?
Moved. Second.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Lisa. Discussion?
What does this cover?
This is the part-time provisional position for the summer for three.
Oh, so it's just for the summer?
Just some.
Right now, this is part-time provisional because it is a part-time position in the summer only. And then there is an exam with follow civil service rules for this. It's a competitive class position. So there will be an exam given in August, results most likely in September, according to the civil service office. And at that time, we will be required to hire off of the active civil service list in September. We'll address that.
Any other questions? Discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? I passes 7-0. Item 2, reclassification.
It is recommended that Judy Tartaglia be reclassified from the position of DP aide to the position of Office Specialist 1, effective July 1, 2014.
Motion? Jim, second? Second. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jen. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? 2 passes 7-0. B, Committee on Special Ed.
The recommendations from the Committee on Special Education's meetings of May 22 and June 5th of 2014 are presented for approval.
Motion. Second. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Paul. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? B passes 7-0. Item C, 504 Committee.
The recommendations from the 504 Committee's meetings of May 22nd and June 5th, 2014 are presented for approval.
Motion. Thank you, Jim. Second? Second. Thank you, Lisa. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? C passes 7-0. Thank you. 6D, bus bond resolution.
It is recommended that the bond resolution for the purchase of school buses be approved.
Motion. Thank you, John, Lisa. Discussion?
This is from the last election.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? D passes 7-0. E, bus parts bid.
It is recommended that the bus parts bid for the 2014-2015 school year be awarded on a per-group basis to each vendor as listed.
Motion. Thank you, Beth. Second. Thank you, Jan. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? E passes 7-0. F, intermunicipal agreement.
It is recommended that the intermunicipal agreement between the New Hartford Central School District and the Madison Oneida BOCES for the term July 1, 2014 through June 30th, 2015 be approved.
Thank you, Jan. Second. Thank you, Jan. Discussion?
Any changes?
No changes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? F passes 7-0. G, budget transfers.
It is recommended that the April 30th, 2014 budget transfers be approved.
Motion?
Move.
Thank you, Ed. Second? Thank you, Paul. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? G passes 7-0. H, agreement, Insight House.
It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent of schools to sign the agreement for services with Insight House for the 2014-2015 school year.
Motion?
Second.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Lisa. Discussion?
Same question, Bob. Any changes?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? H passes 7-0. Item I.
It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent of schools to enter into an agreement for the period of July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2017 with the New Hartford Teachers Association.
Move.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Beth. Discussion?
Just one question. This is, it's fine. But regarding one of our the people that addressed the board, this did come up rather quickly, and I don't know. Do you think there's appropriate time for the people to take a look at if this was on the agenda and all of this stuff? It's just a question.
Teachers Association for the teachers contract?
Yeah.
We have negotiated this collectively.
No, I meant notice that it was on the agenda and coming up for vote. That's all.
We've met the requirements.
Okay.
This board is empowered to make this decision.
Okay. And I'd also like to comment that the contract is representative of a high-performing school and high-performing teachers.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Item I passes 7-0. Congratulations. Item 6J. Resolution to accept an employment agreement. Needs a motion to go into executive table for executive session. Yep. Okay. So item 7-1, other business.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I want to bring up some things that have been brought to my attention regarding the election. It's for the board's consideration, for your information. I think that all these issues are water over the dam, but it is certainly something to consider for any further elections. It's been brought to my attention that school facilities were used by school officials to campaign for and against certain candidates. It is also been brought to my attention that school communication channels were used to support or not support certain candidates. And it's likewise been brought to my attention that candidates and sitting board members were electioneering within 100 feet of the polls for and against certain candidates. And it's also been brought to my attention that board members, sitting board members, collaboratively through emails, social media, letters, without a disclaimer saying that they don't represent the board, were supporting and not supporting certain candidates. These things, in my opinion, should not go on, and I would hope that the board would take a look at these things for future elections, and that some measure of communication regarding electioneering and those kinds of things is made, to the school community and to the board.
And I guess I just have a question.
Yep.
When you say use school communication, can you be more specific? Because we would need to go back and say what you're referring to.
Yeah, communication channels, from what I understand, are things like emails, things like posting on bulletin boards.
Do you have examples of that?
I'm going to leave that to you.
You made the claim, so I'm just asking, do you have
What I said was that it's been brought to my attention. I'm saying it's water over the bridge. If you would like to go out and do research regarding it, that's your opinion.
I got to tell you, because I was out of town last week, and I got a call from my 84-year-old mother telling me that I was in the paper referring to your claim. And I guess since you're going to go public with media attention disparaging this board, I would think you would want to have factual data before you go to mass media. In fact, I would like to explain this article. In the previous
Is this on the agenda? Excuse me.
Well, you're talking.
Point of order. Point of order.
This is embedded.
Point of order.
Right, I agree.
This is regarding the election.
Right. This is embedded into this article.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
At the last board meeting, you brought up under other business, you started to bring up other business items that people on this board called you out for not following policy. I politely said, please send them to me and we will include them in next board. That was on Tuesday. On Thursday, I politely sent you an email saying, Ed, please send me your agenda items so that they can be included in today's board meeting. During that board meeting, since we said we need them on an agenda-like format, you said if they weren't on the format, that if they didn't get on the next agenda, you would go to the media. I asked you for them on the agenda. Monday, I'm out of town, and you didn't even give us the courtesy to have them on the agenda, and we get this in the media. I guess as an outgoing board president, I have to say that I have proudly served this district for 5 years with utmost integrity.
Point of order.
No, the point of order is, when you're going to go to the media, can you please go with factual, not hearsay? Could you go with factual data? And could you give the board a courtesy? You went against what you said you were going to do. There's no integrity in saying, if it's not on the agenda, I'm going. You went anyways.
I'll second that.
Are you finished?
Okay.
As a long-term board member, I'll second that.
Are you finished?
No, I just want to say, at one point, are you going to stop being negative about this district? At what point are you going to let the board do their job?
Ms.
Okay.
Luker, now my response would be, is that I went as a private citizen, and that all I've done, is specifically said in the last 8 months, is to ask the board to consider points of order, points of law, points of policy and regulation. That's all I've done, and if that's a problem for the board, I'm sorry. But it's a problem that's going to continue. Secondly, can I speak, please? Thank you. Secondly, it is not my intention to start an investigation into these matters. You are more than welcome as the board president or as a superintendent to start an investigation into these matters, and I will very happily oblige and help you with that investigation if that's what you wish. But I'm not calling for it. I'm calling for just a water over the bridge, nothing associated with that, and just to consider what is in this book that we should all have regarding school law and elections. That's all. And if that's a problem, then again, I apologize, but that's my intention, and I am well within my First Amendment rights to do so, and I am well within my rights to speak openly and bring issues of improper action by the board to the board's attention. I am well within my rights as an elected official. I'm sorry if you got a problem with that, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't.
Well, you're calling out our integrity publicly and humiliating the district and humiliating every person on here who's a volunteer, including myself, okay? And at the same time, you went against what you were said at the last meeting.
Ms. Luker, am I on trial here?
Okay? You know what?
But if I am.
No, I'm just saying, there are people on, and this will be my last comment on this. There are people on this board with families, young children. There are people on this board with businesses. They do not need to be humiliated in our Observer Dispatch. And I know you're here today, and this is not it. This is not factual. Again, I would appreciate it if you want factual data, that you go through our superintendent.
It is my belief, that every sentence that I wrote there is factual, and it is my belief that if you continue to put me on trial here, then there are options that the board has that you can pursue to take issue with what I have said. And please advise me under proper procedure that you're going to do that so that I can be represented by attorney.
You're very close to the edge of that.
Now, is that a threat, Jim? Is that a
No,
threat,
it
Jim?
isn't a threat. And I'll give you one other statement.
Yes.
It's a legal, did you get a legal opinion from Mr. Knoll about what board members can and cannot do during school board elections? Did you get a legal opinion? So why are you questioning a legal opinion?
The legal opinion was within 100 feet. And not only is it improper, Jim, but to electioneer within 100 feet is a crime, is a misdemeanor, and that was breached.
Mr. Plum is encouraged to share with our council. We'll review those and we will.
Again, if you want to have an investigation, guys, that's entirely up to you. I'm not calling for one, but if you want one.
Mr. Knoll, I was one of those candidates. Mr. Stevens was.
Excuse me, we're going into, excuse me, we're done, and I appreciate your comments, I really do. We're gonna adjourn and go into executive session.
But
Motion.
I think you're stifling the public's opinion. If you really want clear and open transparency on this board.
We're following protocol because we offered for a public forum in the beginning of the meeting. If you want to come back next meeting and talk at the beginning of the meeting, you're more than welcome.
I would be more than happy to, because I was there and Mr. Knoll was there and there was
Go ahead.
improprieties.
Yes, we have a presentation today.
Much more happier note. Mrs. Grieco has been the clerk of the board for 26 years. 26 years. This is her last board meeting. And as board members and administrators, everyone around this table, we appreciate your time, hard work, and dedication that you put into this position. And here's some gifts from all of us to you.
Served since 1988, 26 years as district clerk, and served under 4 superintendents. So a lot of credit to you. We really appreciate all your contributions to the school district. And on behalf of the Board of Education, please accept this gift as well. Also, we have Vince Conzo, who is our outgoing assistant superintendent for curriculum. So we'd like to present you with this gift. Thank you for all of your years of service, contribution, personal level, holds you in high esteem, and the Board of Education feels the same about you. I also have for the Board of Education 2014 yearbook. Senior yearbook, so I will pass that around to all of you. And last but not least, we have outgoing board president Phil Wilker, who has served for 5 years, has seen 1,000 students across the stage with graduation, has been helpful with the construction of the AAA capital improvement project. We have managed over $250 million worth of resources in that 5 years. We've implemented the business reform agenda. So we've gone through some challenges, We've had to absorb the gap elimination adjustment. And one attribute that I'd like to point out is that as board president this year, we instituted the Pledge of Allegiance. That's right. We'd like to present you with this bit. Thank you very much. Any other business? Have 8 items for executive session. 3 pertain to collective negotiations. 1 matter leading to the appointment of a particular person. 1 matter leading to the employment of a particular person. 1 matter regarding the evaluation of particular persons. 1 matter leading to the discipline of particular persons. And 1 matter leading to the employment contract of a particular person.
Can I have a motion? Thank you, Beth.
Second.
Thank you, Paul.
And discussion will coming back out to continue the meeting? Or is it over?
We'll come back out and either close the meeting. I don't know if there's any action. That's
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We will go into executive session in 1 minute. Thank you.
They should have said.